Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming at you with a bag review, and it's none other than one of my very famous brands, and that is actually Chanel. So if you guys watched my previous video, I actually announced to you guys that Chanel is going to have a price increase in Europe, but a price decrease in some of the Asia countries, and I guess Singapore is one of the countries that is going to have a price decrease for Chanel bags. So if you guys are interested in purchasing Chanel, and which you might consider right now, especially when the pricing of the bags are cheaper, especially around area, you may want to stay tuned to this video, because I'm going to do a review on my classic flap bag in medium size, and it's actually in the lambskin. So without further ado, let me show you my bag, which originally comes in this beautiful dust bag, and you can see the word Chanel over here, and as you can see the designs are all diagonally, it's a diagonal kind of a design, which is very unique. So opening the flap would reveal the picture of Coco Chanel, okay, the iconic Coco Chanel over here. And also with that, let me reveal to you my one and only very precious Chanel classic flap bag, and it is in the quilted lambskin in the silver hardware. So it is actually in red, in very lipstick red, which is not very common, because most YouTubers I saw, they actually own the classic black or the beige color. So for me, I bought this baby close to like 2 years ago, yeah, and it's still in gorgeous condition, because I treat it really very well. And I got the red one was because it was so beautiful. I mean, I laid out this bag against the black, the beige, and the other classic flap bag, and this bag was the outstanding one among the others. So I told myself that it looks so sexy, I just gotta have it. And my hubby also agreed, and he told me that this was definitely the one. So yeah, we actually got this one, and at that time they don't have it in gold hardware, only the silver hardware, which I think is still okay. I got this in the medium size, and that was the largest size that they had at that time. So let's start with the dimension. The length of the bag, okay, it's about 11.8 inches, and the height of the bag, it's about 7.7 inches, and this side of the bag, okay, is actually about 3.9 inches. Okay, let me just show you how the inside looks like. So let me open the flap and show you. It's basically a single flap, okay, and as you can see, it has this zip at the top for you to put your stuff. And honestly speaking, I have never used that zip, because I am not sure what I can put inside there, because most of my stuffs are pretty big, and I usually do not use that pocket over here. And if you were to if I were to tilt the bag here, this part you can actually put something. Okay, this is actually a pocket behind the flap. You could maybe slot in some papers or some notes or cash or card, but I do not use this pocket too. Okay, so this part is actually untouched for me. And once you open the flap, you'll see the beautiful CCs. Okay, let me hope you guys can see this. You can see the logo CC over there, and let me take out the papers, and you might also be able to see the word Chanel over there in silver letterings. Okay, and there's another one more paper, and the inside basically looks like this. Okay, so inside you will find two inner pockets over here. There are 2 inner pockets inside, and there's also a small medium pocket in between the 2 pockets that you can put your lipstick case or something like that, which honestly I did not put any of my lipstick case in that small pocket because I'm just too worried it might cause the leather to tear or something like that. So yeah, this is it. And also there is this inner pocket over here which you can put your cards or something like that. So for me, I would usually put my card holders in this pocket here, and my wallet and stuff will be in this main big pocket over here. If you look at the back from this angle, you will see there's also another slot pocket at the back side which you can put papers or cards or something like that. So yeah, that is it. I mean, you of course you have the chain handles which you can choose to carry it this way, or you can choose to pull it down and make the strap longer so that the bag will rest on your hips. This is normally how I carry my bag. The flap, oh yeah, the flap. I didn't mention to you that the flap actually has a button, meaning that you can button the flap onto the bag, which I don't usually do that because I believe that just by closing the bag this way, okay, and locking it is adequate enough, okay. And the base of the bag doesn't have any feet. So with that, I've showed you all the different pockets and the design of this bag. So right now, I would like to share with you about the pros and cons about owning a classic flat bag, especially when it's from Chanel, because we know that anything from Chanel is not cheap. So if you're planning to buy a Chanel bag, and this is my first Chanel bag, so I really thought about it long and hard before I purchased this bag, because as I mentioned earlier, it's not cheap, and you may really want to consider the pros and cons about paying big money for a classic bag like this. So first thing first, why I bought this bag and the pros about this bag. Okay, I bought this bag because it is the iconic Chanel bag that anyone should have. So I know it's on the pricey side, it's more expensive, but it's a piece that you can live with it forever and it will never go out of style. It's so classic that you can match it with any attire. You can wear informal or formal clothing and the bag will still shine. But of course, you have to make sure that your clothing and your accessories match well. So this is something that anyone will look at it once they see you using it, especially the fact that the color is red. So black is pretty much the common normal color, so that's the reason I didn't want to get a black one for my first piece, but maybe eventually down the road I might get a black classic flap. But because it's my first flap, so I decided to get it in red, and as you guys can see, it's so gorgeous. I will always get praises each time when people see me using this bag, so this is definitely a benefit. And secondly, you guys know that the classic flat bag comes in the caviar or the lambskin. So I actually compared both caviar and the lambskin, and for this particular color, at that time they do not have it in caviar leather, only in lambskin. So I was actually a bit hesitant to whether should I get the lambskin material, because I heard so many reviews saying that the lambskin is not only more expensive, but it is more difficult to handle, meaning it's tougher for you to take care of the bag, which I totally agree. But I had no choice because this color only comes in the lambskin, so I got the lambskin instead. But I'm still happy with it because it is really very different to the touch. I mean, when you touch lambskin Chanel bags, you will notice that it's so soft, so smooth. But the thing is, when it rains or when you have a very dirty environment, you may need to be very, very careful, because once there is stain on this bag, I tell you, you are not able to remove it. And why do I say that? It's because I actually wore a wrong outfit with this bag, and the material of that outfit actually rubbed against my bag. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but there is actually a marking over here, a lighter marking, a lighter shade of red over here. And I tried to smooth out the material, but that mark is still imprinted on the bag. And I am seriously very sad, and I was feeling so regret, because I was like, why didn't I see this coming? Because I thought the material, the clothes, my clothes material was good, but unfortunately this happens. So if you guys really want to get a lambskin Chanel, a classic bag in lambskin, you must really think very carefully, and you must be very careful on your attire, on how you're going to carry it, whether is it to work or is it to on a daily basis to the park or something like that, because it's not easy to take care of a lambskin classic bag. Okay, and besides that, I told you that I will use the bag like this rather than, you know, pulling the strap long. And the reason is because for my case, I am a 1.6 meter tall girl. So if I were to wear the bag this way, okay, on my shoulders, what will happen is that the bag will fall below my hips, so it gets a bit too long. Because usually if I am going to carry a bag like this, I would prefer it to fall on my hips or slightly above my hips, so that it doesn't look too draggy or pulling me. But in this case, I'm not sure, maybe you can bring it to Chanel and ask them to cut the strap or something like. I'm not sure, but you may want to consider asking that whether do they have this option or not. So most of the time I would usually carry my bag this way and use it this way, and it will fall nicely above my hips. And for those of you who do not like the idea of cutting the string short, what you guys can do is you may want to consider pulling up the strap again and use it as a crossbody. Because if you use it as a crossbody, I believe the bag will fall nicely on your hips. But if you have to use it just one shoulder, then the bag might fall below your hips, which might look a bit ugly to me lah. Okay, so yeah, this is something that you want to consider. So another thing is that this bag has many pockets. I showed you the pockets at the back, and they have pockets over here. They have pockets in the front here, and also inner pockets. But honestly speaking, with so many pockets, honestly, I never use the pocket at the back. I would say hardly use the pocket in this inner pocket here, the two big ones and the small ones in the middle. I hardly use them because I couldn't think of anything to put in those pockets. So the ones that I usually will use are the middle one, okay, the medium one in the center, and also maybe this pocket here in the front. That's where I put my transport card or something. And of course, I never use this pocket at all. So I'm not sure what were they thinking when they decided to make a pocket over here. These are factors that you may really want to think, because as I say, this is not a cheap bag, and given the fact that you buy this bag and you hardly use the other pockets, it's a matter of whether is it worth it or not worth it. But as I said, to me, this is my first Chanel, so I didn't have a lot of complaints. I just accepted it as it is because it's an iconic bag, okay? And the fact that it has a button over here, this is also one more thing that you might be wondering. It has a button here, so do you really button the bag? Well, for me, I don't use the button at all, because why bother to button when, you know, I can just, you know, secure the bag like this, right? So this is how I use the bag. So if you disagree with my comments, it's okay, because to each is his or her own. So yeah, that's it. So overall, what do I usually put in the bag? I guess it's very much similar to my previous video which I did for Chinese New Year. So I could put my wallet, my cell phone, my makeup pouch, and some additional, maybe a camera or something, and it's still able to be to contain inside this classic flap. So with that, I guess I have already highlighted all the pros and cons about this bag. And one advice for those of you who really want to purchase this bag, I mean, if you have the budget and usually you have a lot of stuff to carry like me, I usually will usually buy big bags. If you have the budget, you may want to consider getting a jumbo size, because the jumbo size is definitely larger than this medium size. So if you're really planning to get one, I would recommend a jumbo size in caviar leather, because it's easy to take care and you have the space, and black will definitely be a good color to choose. Maybe that's actually in my wish list, so I would definitely consider that myself. I hope you find this video very informative for those of you out there who plans to buy a classic Chanel flat bag that is in the lambskin material and also in silver hardware. So with that, honestly, I love my Chanel bag and I hope to get another one soon. So if you guys have it, please share. So with that, thank you very much and have a great weekend. Bye!